So Bayern Munich just drew 2-2 with Stuttgart. My initial match reaction, my thoughts on Nagelsmann tactics, and my tactics analysis from the game. Now I'm traveling, so it's a bad setting to record, but respect the grind of the recording. So, for my standout players, I thought that no one was a standout. I did my player ratings video, check that out also. In terms of the Nagelsmann rating, I'm gonna give him a very low rating of 4.5 out of 10. I simply thought the tactics were poor. I thought the subs were poor, and I thought that Bayern didn't do well in this football match. And let's talk about these tactics for a second. So defensively, it kind of makes sense. We played in the 4-2-3-1 formation. And the key idea used by Nagelsmann here is that you have Muller up front pressing. And we saw this against Man City in that preseason game. And it makes sense because Muller is the premier presser of our team. He has panache, he has style in that press, and he's also really dominant, a hard runner. So it's good to have him leading the line for that press. But Muller up front in the defensive stages of the game, in that 4-2-3-1, also related to Muller up front when the team was actually playing. And it was a really weird, wacky formation. At times in the first half, it was like a 4-2-4 formation with two strikers. And those strikers, bizarrely, I must add, really weirdly, and doesn't really make much sense for Nagelsmann. They were Thomas Muller and Jamal Musiala, and then that meant that Serge Gnabry and Matthias Tell were shifted to the wings, and those are the two players who should have been playing strikers. So what is Nagelsmann thinking? Why didn't he play a 4-2-2-2 formation with Muller and Musiala as the cams instead of Muller and Musiala as striker at times? Just really baffling stuff. And also, let's talk about Serge Gnabry for a second, because Serge Gnabry on the wing is so bad now. I haven't seen Serge Gnabry dribble a player in years. He doesn't have the explosiveness anymore. And when he was in the 4-2-2-2, he was combining well with Mane. He was combining as a striker. So why make him a wide player again, where he was so ineffectual? He missed so many chances, missed so many passes, got in the way of so many plays. Why do that, Nagelsmann? I don't understand this tactical idea, this tactical choice by Nagelsmann. And another thing I would like to mention is that Leon Goretzka played in a two-man midfield with Joshua Kimmich, but he was far more advanced than Kimmich, as opposed to the Sabitzer, who's really anchored that midfield, who's sat behind Kimmich, who's sat as a six, who's swept up, who's protected the defense. And this meant that our play was much more open in the midfield, because Goretzka was pushing so far high. That meant when the other team were able to bypass the press, then there was already one less midfielder, and it was only Kimmich in the defense that they had to face, which led to counter-attack opportunities and opportunities to scoring goals. So there was less balance in the side by Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann should have instructed Goretzka to sit further back with Kimmich, like Sabitzer's been doing. And Goretzka also in attack, because he was so advanced, it meant he wasn't involved in build-up. Yeah, he had a few good runs maybe, which Kimmich found. But again, when the other team counterattacks, then Goretzka's completely out of the game. And also, if Goretzka's pushing so high, he's not contributing to the build-up with long passes like Sabitzer does. So this game was further evidence that Sabitzer Kimmich is why our midfield is finally being good this season, and further evidence that Sabitzer should be the one partnering Kimmich in the Champagne lineup. He should be partnering Kimmich versus FC Barcelona. Another thing to talk about is Noussair Mazraoui. Mazraoui was poor and he got subbed off, but Nagelsmann decided to play him in that right half space. He decided to play Mazraoui really in possession. He would really come inside. He would act in build-up, almost as a number six or a central midfielder. So it'd be Kimmich at the base of midfield, and then it would be Mazraoui and someone else in central midfield. But that's how it worked for Bayern Munich. So it'd be Mazraoui in the right centre midfield, Kimmich in defensive mid, left centre mid, Goretzka. And that's how the Bayern build-up worked. But it didn't really work. That's how it was designed to work. But things which are designed to work don't always work. And this was a case of that. I think against Barcelona, Nagelsmann will revert back to Sabitzer, and he should revert back to Sabitzer. He will revert back to Pavard 100%, 1,000,000%, because Mazraoui was just so poor. His touch was poor, his dribbling was poor, the tactic to play him in the inside was poor, because it wasn't providing enough width on the right-hand side, but it was just not a good display from Mazraoui. I would also like to talk about De Ligt. Because of how the defense was structured by Nagelsmann, De Ligt was often having to get close to the physical attack, and he was a bit too slow to do that. It didn't fit De Ligt's strength. But yeah, so that's my match analysis. I wasn't impressed with Nagelsmann at all. I thought it was puzzling to have Mazraoui playing in the inside, puzzling to have Gnabry on the wing, puzzling to have Goretzka so advanced. I think Nagelsmann should revert back to a 4-2-2-2 instead of whatever this was. What was this? A 4-2-4? Was it a 4-2-3-1? I don't know. He should revert back to the 4-2-2-2 with Mane and Gnabry against Barcelona. Thank you for watching. Sorry for the poor video quality, but it will improve in the future. I was traveling. Thank you. Goodbye.